So, Turning Red is a new movie from Pixar. It's directed by Domi Shi, who previously directed a short film for Pixar. And it's about a girl named Mei Lin who finds out that when she feels any emotion strongly, she turns into a giant red panda. And she has to find a way to control her powers, basically make sure no one sees it, make sure no one knows about it other than her family. And that's basically the movie. So going into this movie, I didn't know what to expect. A lot of Pixar movies, in my opinion, while really good, a lot of the trailers are not really good. I feel like they don't really show too much, which I'm really glad about. So when I see the movie, I'm actually surprised for once in a movie. So, and also I'm just really annoyed with what Disney has been doing with all their Pixar movies. They've been moving them to Disney Plus, which just stop. Just stop doing that. Put them in theaters. But anyway, so I didn't know what to expect from this. The trailers looked alright, and I've heard a lot of things about this movie. And admittedly, I saw this movie last weekend, about 2 weekends ago actually, and I kind of didn't want to talk about it at first, and I kind of wanted to rewatch it again before I started talking about it. And I will say this: I think this movie is really good. Definitely some things that need to be talked about. But other than that, I would recommend watching this movie, surprisingly. So, what works? Well, the animation is really good throughout. I love the design of the red panda. I thought that was really good. You can see all the hairs on it. That was really interesting. I love the design of the city. I love the anime style of the animation. That was also really interesting as well. It was definitely a different feel from a lot of Pixar movies, interestingly enough, and it works. I thought it was very interesting for like what kind of movie they're trying to go for. That was interesting. And also I found myself laughing a lot throughout the entire movie, especially during my second viewing, whereas like I kind of hear all the jokes now, I get them all now. And there are definitely a lot of moments I would not expect from a Pixar movie in this, and I didn't mind it too much. A lot of people are up in arms over this movie for various reasons. Like, they even are upset that they can hear the word crap at one point, and I'm like, you do realize that you heard 13-year-olds say worse before, right? I'm just saying. So, anyway, and also, I actually really liked the lot of themes about this movie, a lot of the messages about, being perfect in the eyes of your parents. It's not possible. Just being yourself is being perfect enough. And I also really like how it addresses a lot of these subject matters in an interesting way, like, puberty, relationship between, parents and kids. It's definitely interesting, and it's also interesting about, how they talk about repressing emotions at the same time. That's very interesting. Um, so I do think this movie is actually really good. I do think it's really fun. It's really funny. It's a movie that, it's weird. Growing up, it's like I didn't really get a lot of these movies growing up, like saying, "Oh, puberty is okay and it's normal and such." But no, we didn't get those when I was growing up. No. Any problems? There are definitely some moments that are questionable. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm okay with a lot of things that are talked about in this movie. I'm okay with them kind of pushing the envelope on the PG rating a bit. Some moments I'm like, really? You kind of had to go there? I don't know if you were like thinking the metaphor all the way through at times, and I don't know if like that's really the best way to go about this. It's like, cool, you're doing this, but you're doing it this way? I don't know. And also, I feel like a lot of the supporting characters are just fine at best. Like the main girl's friends, I would say only one of them really stood out, the really hyperactive one. The other two, not so much, but I did like their friendship throughout. And Malin's dad, I thought he was fine at best. He gives a really good speech towards Maylin in the movie, so I will give him that. As far as the other performances go, Sandra Oh as her mom, I thought she was really good. I didn't get the actress's name for Maylin, but I thought she did a really good job as well. But overall, Turning Red is definitely an interesting Pixar movie to watch. I do think at times it can be cringy, but I kind of let that pass because I know puberty is very cringy as well, and it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and yeah, I'm just gonna let some of it slide. So I do think it's well animated. It can be very funny. The score is really good as well. The messages are really great, which in a Pixar movie, it's not really that surprising. So, but even though there are some uncomfortable moments, and I feel like there's some characters who are lacking in development, like character development, I would still recommend watching this. I would definitely recommend watching this. Yeah, I feel like I'm saying things twice, but I would definitely watch this, especially if you're not necessarily a Pixar fan, but if you're looking for something different from Pixar. I would say I would give Turning Red 3 out of 4 stars. See it. So I don't know. How would you rank the Pixar movies? I know I've done a video about that, but comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.